Sport. Many Scottish people love sport, and in Scotland, many people play golf, the rich and the not-so-rich. Golf began in this country, and the golf capital of Scotland is St Andrews, a small university city near Edinburgh. There are more than 400 golf courses in Scotland, and many of them are very beautiful. In the summer, when the days are long, you can play from 7 in the morning to 10 at night. Football is also very important. In 2006, Scotland had the 10th highest number of football clubs of any country in the world. Celtic and Rangers are the biggest and the most famous Scottish clubs, but others, like Aberdeen, also do well in Scotland and in Europe. The Scots play rugby football too, and it is an important sport in Scotland. In 1990, Scotland beat England, Wales, Ireland, and France at rugby, and every year the Scots want to do this again. But now Italy plays too, so they need to beat 5 countries, not 4. Scotland's hills and mountains are good for sports too. Walking, climbing, cycling, and more. And there are lots of exciting sports on, in, and under the water, in the lochs, rivers, and the sea. You can take a kayak down a fast river, for example, or out to sea. The rain does not matter when you do these sports. Between May and September, in more than 100 different places in Scotland, people meet at a Highland Games, a festival of Scottish sports and music. You can see big men tossing the caber, listen to Scottish music on the bagpipes, and watch Scottish dancing. Not all Scotsmen have kilts, but more and more of them wear one sometimes, and lots of people wear kilts to the games. When a Scotsman wears a kilt, he is saying, "I like being Scottish." A kilt needs about 6 meters of tartan. When one of the big clans, like Clan Donald, Mackenzie, or Stuart, has a big meeting, people come from many countries. Many of them wear kilts in the clan tartan when they come. One clan in the USA, Clan Donald, has 4,000 families. Their families went from Scotland to the USA perhaps 150 years ago, but they still want to be Scottish.
Hey guys, welcome to Lingua Marina. Today I'm going to teach you how to get used of overused words in English. When we all start to learn a language, we start with a very basic set of words like really, important, like, and all of those. And as we evolve with our language, we continue using them over and over again. And this makes our speech boring.
Boring?
So today we're gonna dig into your speech, we're gonna identify those overused words, and I'm gonna give you alternatives so you could sound more like a native speaker and make your speech more diversified. So if you're interested, continue watching this video. First word is like. But remember, I told you in some of my videos to use this word if you need some time in order to think what's coming next. I want to like go skating. So this meaning is completely different. We're gonna talk about like. That means when you like something, when you adore something. And immediately I use synonyms. Instead of saying I like this, you can say I admire this. I adore this, which is a little stronger than like. It means that you are really fascinated by something.
I adore that.
You can also say cherish. That means something is important to you.
I cherish you.
If you were talking about a person, for example, you're in love with a guy or with a girl, instead of saying I like her, you can say I fancy her, which is a little British, but is also used in American English.
I fancy you too.
The next word is important, and I know we learn it year one when we start learning English, but we can say vital, which means you cannot live without it. My salary is vital to me because without it, I would not survive.
More vital than saving lives.
Or you can also say significant. For example, if you're talking about a person who is important to you, like your husband, you can say a significant other. And this phrase is used a lot in the US because when you're inviting a couple, you can say, please come over and bring your significant other, because you don't know whether that person is married or maybe they're still dating. So you can just say a significant other. That means that a person is important to you and he's your or she's your significant other.
Well, you've lived with your significant other for some time.
You can also use the word essential, for example, for things that are important for you in order to maintain your daily routine. My phone is an essential part of my life because I need it for my business and for calling my parents.
That is essential.
New. This word is used over and over again in English. New product, new day, new week, etc. But there are some words that you can use instead. For example, updated. This is an updated version of an iPhone. It has 3 cameras. Instead of saying a new version, you can say an updated, because this is actually more accurate because you're talking about upgrades that they brought to a new version.
Yeah, the updated version.
You can also say modern. Modern day, modern world, modern computer.
Modern deodorant for a modern man.
The next word is really, and we say it a lot. It's really beautiful. It's really amazing. I really like it, over and over and over again. But you can say it's significantly taller. For example, this building is significantly taller than the other building.
Significantly overrated.
Or instead of saying I really love you, you can say I love you to the moon and back. So there are different expressions that you can use to replace the word really.
Then I love her to the moon and back.
One of the best ways to diversify your speech is to read as much as you can and listen to as many audiobooks as you can, because if you're reading a book, the author wouldn't use good, see, as, like all the time. He would use other words because people, when they're writing, when they're professionals, they do their best. And today this video is sponsored by an app that lets you read books really fast. They're called Blinkist, and you can read or listen to any book in 15 minutes, which is amazing in our modern world when I always have like a list of 20 books that I want to read, and sometimes it takes me months to complete one book. But with Blinkist app, you get the most important thoughts from one particular book, and you don't have to spend weeks reading the whole manuscript. This is what their app looks like. I'm currently reading Money by Tony Robbins because I started the actual book, and it's been 3 weeks because there is so much, I wouldn't say useless information, there's just so much information around the main concept, so I just ended up reading it on Blinkist. They have different categories that help you navigate, and they also have curated lists, like for example New York Times bestsellers. So if you're looking for something that you want to read right now, you can just use one of their lists. The first 100 people who use my link below are gonna get 7 days completely for free. This is your chance to read in English and read the most amazing content. And then if you decide to continue with the full membership, you get 25% off. But remember, you get 7 days for free. You can cancel anytime and enjoy amazing content. Your favorite and. When you're writing a personal statement or a motivation letter or an email, first of all, it's not really grammatically correct to start your sentence with and. Normally, people would start with a word like moreover, in addition to what I said, furthermore, like all of these words make your speech more diversified. And if you're taking a TOEFL exam, if you're taking an IELTS exam, if you're doing academic writing, people really pay attention to it. And I know that in TOEFL and IELTS, if you don't use enough of those words, if you keep using and over and over again, they would actually reduce your grade. So please make sure that and is replaced by moreover, in addition to, furthermore, I'd like to add that, etc. And please don't start your sentence with and.
Moreover, she saw your Uncle Claudius with him.
Interesting. This word is also really widely used and can be replaced with a lot of words. Like you can say, this is cool. Instead of saying this is interesting, you can say this is mesmerizing. This play was mesmerizing. I was fascinated by it. Instead of saying this play was interesting.
She sang it was mesmerizing.
Of course you can say that, but we're learning more vocabulary here. So you can, by the way, if you're writing this down, you're doing a totally amazing job. Don't forget to tag me on Instagram when you're doing this, because I love watching your stories. I'm Lingua Marina on Instagram. And a lot of you guys ask me how to learn new vocabulary. This is your way to learn it. You take one word that you use over and over again, you write down synonyms to this word, maybe using my video, maybe using your own research, and then you try to replace it in your speech 3 or 4 times, and then this is how your brain is gonna learn how to use different words. Good. Some people would consider this compliment as average, like this is a good option. Might sound like this is an average option. So if you want to really tell somebody that you're impressed by their results, don't say good results. Say amazing results, say fascinating results, say mesmerizing results, say impressive results. So a lot of words that are a lot stronger than good, because good is somewhere here, amazing is somewhere here, fascinating is somewhere here, and good is still, you know, a little lower.
Very nice. Very impressive. Very impressive.
Smart. Now, if you're learning a British version of English, smart is when somebody is dressed up. You look smart today, you look smart today. That means you're wearing a dress, you're wearing your makeup, you've done your hair, and this is the British version. American version of smart is clever. People say this word a lot. He's a smart person. What a smart doggy. Oh my God. So they use smart all the time. But you can replace it with other words. Yes, you can say clever, you can say brilliant, you can say quick-witted, you can say wise, you can say genius. Use these words instead of smart.
She was clever, yes.
Explain. Again, this word is really basic. But what I like to say in my speech when somebody talks about something and I didn't really understand, I tell them, could you please elaborate on that a little more? Elaborate on something. Instead of saying, could you explain this once again? I say, could you elaborate on this a little more? This sounds really American. Americans love this expression.
Could you elaborate, Ramon?
You can also say, could you clarify that for me?
Hey, okay. And could you clarify with an example?
The next word that we use a lot is thing. I like this thing a lot. This is a really interesting thing. Instead of thing, you can say concept, but really you need to be in the context and see which other synonyms you can use instead of just saying thing, because thing is, again, it sounds a little awkward because that means that you don't really, maybe you don't understand the concept because you keep saying thing. So instead of saying thing, think of other synonyms to a concept that you're replacing.
Yes. Interesting concept.
See, to see something. Oh my God, there are so many synonyms to this word, and I think you have to learn all of them, because if you're reading an English language text, you're gonna see a lot of those words. For example, glimpse at someone.
I kind of got this arcane glimpse at the universe.
Or stare. When I stare, it means I keep looking at you all the time.
Why are you staring at me?
Observe. I'm observing something. I'm observing San Francisco from my window.
Oh, no, I'm just observing the class. Carry on.
Notice. You notice something. I've noticed something.
Notice me. Notice me. Notice me.
So there are a lot of synonyms to replace see. Another word is also. Do you remember we talked about and? So this is kind of the same problem, especially when you're writing an essay. It's good to replace also. It's great, it's amazing, it's fascinating when you're replacing also with something else like furthermore, in addition to, moreover, because that makes your speech more profound.
And furthermore, I suggest
change. There are so many synonyms to change. There is a synonym adjust. Can you adjust my shirt a little bit so it fits better?
Adjust course, Lieutenant. Sir.
Transform. This company has completely transformed the market instead of change the market.
You can transform it, Will.
Another word is modify, and the same appeals to change as a noun. Adjustment, improvement, modification. And the last but not the least, you love to say said. He said, she said, I said, and then your speech is just filled with said. There are so many words to replace said. Especially, I remember when I was doing reported speech exercises at school, they told us to replace said. They even forbid us to use said when we were doing those exercises. So you can say claim. I claimed that I would complete the project by some date. Stated. In his speech, he stated that this will take over a year. Declared. He declared that he would marry her. Argued. This doesn't mean that he was shouting at somebody. Argued means that he is providing facts. He argued that this could be much worse. Suggested. Explained. So write these words down, and the next time you're talking about somebody saying something, replace the word say with those words.
So you have claimed.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I am going to teach you different tips and tricks how to understand native speakers, because sometimes they have such accents that their speech makes no sense to us non-English native speakers. So if you're interested, please continue watching.
Back to San Francisco. Our minds may change.
Now, when I was 14, I went to the UK and I stayed with a local family. I went to a local school. It was like a 2-week trip, and during that trip I realized I do not understand what people are telling me, because what we learned at school, the English that we've learned at school, was actually Russian version of the English language. And when I came to the UK, and British people have this very distinct accent and they use really weird words, sometimes like weird for a Russian speaker, I just couldn't get what they were telling me. The only person I could interact with was my host mom, because she really made an effort to speak like a English language teacher. So like that, separating words. And when I wanted to communicate with British kids, I had a lot of trouble because they didn't want to make this effort, and thus I didn't get what they were saying. So when I came back home, I realized I cannot just continue learning English in the way I have, and I have to do something else. I have to do something new, and now I'm gonna tell you what I started to do. Tip number 1, practice listening while reading simultaneously. And you guys are very lucky, because now we have YouTube, we have Netflix, which means that you can switch on a video on YouTube, like this one. You can just switch on subtitles on this video.
Films with subtitles.
And read along. That would help you train your visual part and train your listening part, because you're gonna see the way I'm opening my mouth and you're gonna listen to what I'm saying, and then your brain is gonna connect the two, and this will train and train and train you. When I was a kid, We didn't have YouTube, we didn't have Netflix. I even didn't have access to internet all the time. So what I used to do, I used to sing along to Britney Spears. And you remember the CDs when we had like a little book coming with a CD with lyrics for every single song? And that's what I did. I just listened to her music because I loved her, and I just sang along, reading to the lyrics. The next step that I've taken when I was 16, I went to the UK and I realized that Lily Allen, who later became my favorite singer, was really popular. So I bought her CD, and this is the way I learned British accent, because she sings with a really distinct British accent. And when you sing along, when you read those lyrics and you listen to her, and you start to understand British people better. Advanced tip: if you think that this is too fast, like Marina, you're talking too fast, Lily, you're singing too fast, Brittany, you're singing too fast, what you can do, you can slow down the video 2x on YouTube, and you could do it now, right here, down in the bottom section. So you can slow down the video 2x, my voice will become really weird, but then you would be able to follow me. Because sometimes, yes, I read your comments, sometimes you tell me I speak too fast, but this is something you have to get used to. Because when you come here, nobody will really make an effort to speak slower just because you do not understand. You will have to play alone, and you will have to just adapt to whatever is happening. And in terms of accents, I would say British accent has been the most difficult for me, because it was really tough to understand British, and they have a lot of regional accents. Like in London, people would use one accent, then you travel 1 hour away from London and it would be a completely different accent. The easiest country to understand accents is actually Canada, because they have a mix of American and British, and it's really mild. So if you're planning your trip abroad to study English, I would really recommend Canada. Check out our schools below on LinguaTrip. My favorite is ILSC, and I also went to ILAC myself, ILAC Toronto. And if you guys love music, like I do, I've recently bought a electric piano. I just sing songs in English, and this is also the way I practice my pronunciation, the way I practice listening skills. If you think that you're advanced, you know what you have to do? Try to sing along Eminem, Lose Yourself.
He calm and ready to drop off, but he keeps on forgetting what he wrote. Oh my god!
And if you're brave enough, you can record it and put it on your Instagram and tag me, #LinguaMarina, #LinguaTrip. I'm gonna check it out and I'm gonna give you my feedback. Let's try it. Tip number 2, when native speakers speak, they tend to say one sentence as one word. So they don't say, "Do you want to grab a coffee?" Yes, this is really easy for you to understand, but you have to learn to understand one sentence as one word. Do you want to grab a coffee? That sounds just like one sentence. This would also help you with spoken English, because you have to do the same in order for people to understand you.
Could you repeat that?
Tip number 3. In order to be able to understand when native speakers are talking, you need to be able to understand distinct words. Sometimes you don't have to understand the whole sentence. You just have to get what are the most important words in the sentence, and then you're gonna figure out the meaning. So don't worry if you listen to somebody and there are some words you do not understand. And this applies to reading as well. You don't have to know every single word. And if you feel that you have to check out every single word that is new for you, don't do that. Because if you're reading a book and like every third word is new, then you won't be reading a book. You will be just consulting your vocabulary and dictionary all the time. Your task is to figure out what are these most important words in the sentence. And the most important words are normally nouns, adjectives, and verbs. There are a lot of filler words that you don't have to understand, and normally native speakers pronounce them less louder than the main words. The words that you don't have to really get are articles and prepositions, like articles a, the, and prepositions like at, on, to. If you don't get them, that's okay, and people tend to kind of swallow them, and be ready for that. Hello? So for example, if we go to the coffee thing, you can just omit all of the function words and you're gonna get you want get cup coffee. Actually, if you say that, native speakers are gonna get what you're saying. And when native speakers pronounce those function words really fast, do you wanna get a cup of coffee?
You wanna get a cup of coffee?
You know what you've heard? You want to get cup coffee and you don't really hear those function words, and this is how the native speaker's speech works. Tip number 4. Native speakers tend to use a lot of filler words like I'm saying this, but like I don't mean this. You get it, right? So like is everywhere.
I was like meditating.
What you should know is that like has no actual meaning. It doesn't make any sense in the sentence. It is just used for you to win some time and think of what you're trying to say next. Sometimes like replaces actual words, and this is when you have to get the meaning. So for example, and I was like, let's go and see the movie. So in this case, I was like replaces and I said. Also, like is used when you are uncertain of something. I think he's like a doctor, maybe. So you are not sure if he's a doctor. As you see, people use like all the time. Sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. It's important for you to know what are the cases when people are using like. And this applies to many words in English, and this is why I'm teaching you a lot of idioms, a lot of slang words. So when you hear the native speaker, you will get exactly what every single word means. So write them down and remember them. Okay, and number 5, as I mentioned, there are so many accents. I would say in America, like if you travel from West Coast to the East Coast, you won't really hear the accent. I can say that something is weird about the speech, but I won't be able to tell what exactly. But if you're in the UK and you go from London to Edinburgh, oh my god, you're gonna hear it straight away. Their accents are really, really tough. First, don't panic, like it's okay. Even native speakers panic. Like when I was in Germany and I went to Zurich, people speak German in Zurich, but they speak Swiss German. I couldn't get a thing. And it's okay, it happens to native speakers as well. Normally when you come to a city, you adjust to local accent and you get the local accent. So make sure you're traveling to the right place. Because when I traveled to Great Britain, when I was 14, 15, 16, I went to those language schools and I ended up having a nice British accent when I was 21, and then I moved to America. And well, it took me maybe like 2 or 3 months to change my accent to American one. And it's okay. Just be ready that if you spend some time in a certain environment, you're gonna get the accent. And if you spend a lot of time in Scotland, for example, in a small village in Scotland, make sure that you try and sound more traditional when you're talking to people outside Scotland.
Word up!
My last advice for you is to expose yourself to as many accents as you can. And if you travel to a big city like New York, like Los Angeles, you're gonna meet a lot of people, and the more you talk, the more time you spend in the environment, the better you get at understanding accents. Watch as many movies and TV shows in English as you can. As I mentioned, there are several websites where you can do that. Netflix.com, you can switch on subtitles. HBO Now is my favorite because on HBO Now you can watch Silicon Valley, my favorite TV show, and Westworld, which is also a great one. So you can buy a subscription there for like $14 and you go and watch them. And of course, the best thing you can do is travel and spend a couple weeks or a couple months abroad while studying in a local language school. The link will be below. You can check out the schools, check out the pricing. We'll be happy to help you and reach your goals and dreams in English. If you love music, get yourself a piano and start playing and singing your favorite songs, sing along to your favorite singers. Please comment down below with your favorite movie that you watched in English so that other people could get some ideas what they want to watch. If you're not yet subscribed to this channel, there is a red button. Please hit subscribe and please share this video with your friends who are studying English language and struggling to understand native speakers. Please like it, and I will see you soon in the next videos. Bye!
Cheryl, that was fantastic.
The rice was terrific.
Cookies, anyone? Yes. 1, please.
I'll take 2, thanks. Or 3.
Do you eat sweets, Mr. Evans?
I used to, but I can't anymore.
No dessert for you, Bob?
Not on his diet.
But weren't you eating cookies today at work?
I was eating carrots.
Didn't I see you snacking on candy this afternoon?
That was an apple.
What about that ice cream you ate yesterday?
Fruit salad.
My mistake.
These cookies are terrific.
If you like the cookies, you'll love this cake.
Oh.
Would you eat some strawberries, Mr. Evans?
Strawberries are my passion.
Really?
I'd eat strawberries on anything. Cereal, pasta, even rice.
I'm crazy about chocolate cake. I can gain weight with every bite.
I think I'll have a cookie. Bob, could you pass the... Oh. Where'd they go?
I have one.
I have 4.
I have none.
Hey, you only live once.
What do you think about this color?
What is that color?
It's tomato red. How does this color make you feel?
Happy.
Sad.
Tired. I don't feel like looking at any more colors.
Quit complaining. How about this one?
Happy.
Sad.
Awful. I can't stand looking at it. Do you plan to do this all night?
This one. Be sure to look carefully.
Sad.
Happy.
Very, very nervous.
Nervous about what?
I'm nervous you're gonna paint the whole wall that color.
It's my apartment, Bob.
Yeah, but we come here a lot. Can we discuss leaving the walls just like this?
I'm tired of looking at yellow walls.
Fine. Can you at least choose a color we'll all be excited about?
There is no color you all like. Paul's feeling happy about everything. Marie's feeling sad about everything. And you just seem to hate color, don't you, Bob?
I love color. Just not those colors.
Okay. Then why don't you find a color that everybody likes?
What do you think of this color?
I like it.
I like it too, actually.
I love it.
I'm not painting the walls the same color as my sofa. The whole room would be green.
You could change the color of the sofa.
To what?
The color of the walls would be a nice color.
Marie, you've been so quiet. Are you okay?
I'm just a little down in the dumps.
Oh, I'm sorry. We've been arguing about colors and you're feeling blue. Blue.
What's wrong, Marie?
Don't know. I can't put my finger on it. I've just been feeling out of sorts.
Don't worry. I can help. Dr. Cheer is here.
Doctor who?
At school, people call me Dr. Cheer. Because I'm always happy and I enjoy cheering people up.
You know that's true. You're always cheering me up.
How do you do that?
I practice laughing every day.
Laughing at what?
Nothing. I just choose to laugh.
You just decide to laugh? I can't do that. It's not in my nature.
How do you know? Just try. Let me hear you laugh.
Ha ha.
Louder.
Ha ha.
Come on, keep laughing.
Ha 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 ha.
You're right. It's not your personality.
What now, Dr. Cheer?
Chocolate?
Yes!
Works every time.
Your schedules. For the next trip?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Look that over.
Hello, everyone. You remember Ms. Novak?
Hello.
Hi.
Ms. Novak has just opened an art gallery here. I've asked her to find some pieces to decorate our office. She's brought some things for us to look at today.
I have a painting, a sculpture, and a photograph that I think you'll like. Here's the painting. This was painted by a Russian artist that I really like. It's called Sun on the Water. The artist was inspired by looking at the sea. What do you think?
I think I could do that.
It's fantastic. How interesting.
It's very blue.
Yes.
It's gorgeous.
Oh, good. Here's the sculpture. It was made by a British sculptor. It's called City of Gold.
Is it really gold?
No, it's made of wood. It was painted gold. What do you think?
It's cool.
Mr. Evans, I think it would look good in your office.
I think I preferred the painting.
I'm fascinated by it.
Good. And here's the photograph. It's called Winter. It was photographed in Paris.
There's nothing there.
It's a photograph of snow in a park.
Maybe I should buy them all. What do you think?
Great!
Hey, look. I'm an artist. Here's my latest work. It's called Office Wall. It was inspired by looking at the walls of the office.
Are you a photographer?
Yes. Well, no. I take a lot of pictures.
Well, I'm not so crazy about that one. But I do like what you've done here. Oh, I'm very moved by it, actually. It's a fascinating mixture of Eastern and Western traditions. You have talent.
I do.
I think I could sell this.
Really?
It's very good.
I'm crazy about photography.
Well, do you have any more of your work here?
No.
Oh. Here's my card. Why don't you bring me some pieces on Friday?
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So, where are we going to put this thing?
Hang it by my desk.
Really?
Yeah. As an artist, I'm really starting to like it. As a matter of fact, I think it's one of the most interesting works I've ever seen.
Bob, can you help me with something?
Sure.
I'm trying to print a file, but the printer won't work.
Push the green button on the printer.
Why?
To turn it on. It won't print unless it's on.
Oh, right. Silly me. Thank you.
Hey, Bob. My laptop crashed and I can't get it to do anything. I type on the keyboard and nothing happens.
Stick this here.
Why?
To restart the computer.
You sure? Okay, thanks.
Bob, I could use a hand with something.
What is it?
Somebody sent me an email, but I think it has a virus in it.
Don't open the attachment. Click on the no virus icon on the toolbar.
Why?
To clean the computer and stop the virus.
Thanks. Bob, can I ask you another question?
I'm sorry, but I can't get any work done with all these questions. Please, I have some very important stuff I need to finish right now.
Game over. Game over.
Very important stuff.
Game over.
How can I help you? Hey, Mr. Evans?
Yes.
You asked me to build a website for the company?
Oh, yes. How's it coming along?
Well, sir, I think I need some new technology.
What do you need?
A new scanner.
What's that?
It's a scanner, sir, but it's not nearly as good as this one. This one would give us much better photos.
Okay.
And a digital camera would be good.
What's that?
It's not a digital camera, sir. It won't take pictures as easily as this one.
Okay.
And also a new laptop. It's not as fast as this one.
I see. Anything else?
A new DVD drive. And I could also use a new joystick.
A joystick? Isn't that for computer games?
Well, I don't really need the joystick.
What's all this going to cost me?
What? Well, actually, we could do without the DVD drive. And the laptop. And the camera. And the scanner.
Great.
Hi, I'm Jackie from IELTSjackie.com. In this video, I share my top IELTS speaking tips to save you preparation time and to increase your chances of scoring high marks in your test. For many students, the speaking test is the most challenging part of the IELTS exam. This is for two main reasons. You have very little thinking time before answering a question, and it can be difficult to practice speaking English. Neither of these issues applies to writing, reading and listening. For these other parts of the exam, You do have at least a little time to consider your answers without an examiner sitting in front of you expecting an immediate response. Also, it's simple to sit down and practice writing English, reading an English magazine, or listening to an English podcast. To practice speaking English is another matter altogether. Who do you talk to? What do you talk about? With these 9 speaking tips, you'll overcome the challenges and be well prepared when the day of your test arrives. So here are my 9 top speaking tips. 1. Commit to speaking English every day. 2. Practice answering IELTS-style questions. 3. Grow your vocabulary. 4. Know the exam. 5. Understand what you'll be tested on. 6. Know your strengths and weaknesses. 7. Practice identifying grammatical structures. 8. Focus on fluency. And 9. Work on your pronunciation. We'll now go through them one at a time. For some of the tips, I put links to web pages on my website, IELTSjackie.com, where there are lots more details. You'll find the links in the notes below this video. Tip 1. Commit to speaking English every day. The great thing is, you don't have to have a speaking partner to practice speaking English. And for the first of our speaking tips, you don't need anyone else. The technique I recommend you use will teach you not just to speak English, but to think in English. This is one of the most valuable skills you can develop. Learning to think in English will help you to speak faster and with greater accuracy and fluency. You'll quickly see a massive improvement in your speaking skills. It's a very simple technique and will fit easily into your everyday life. I explain it in detail on the website. There's also a video about it on my YouTube channel. Just follow the link below. The only way to improve your speaking skills is to practice. Plan a timetable with a set number of mock speaking tests each week. You might, for example, do one every other day, or on 3 set days each week. Only you know how much time you have available to focus on the speaking part of the exam and how much more practice you need. If you're keeping to the timing of the test, each one will take less than 15 minutes. Although, do allow yourself more thinking time while you're learning how to develop answers for the different parts of the test. I've put lots of resources on the website to make practicing easy for you. These include 30 full mock tests covering 30 different topics. That's 330 questions in all. Download them on the IELTS speaking questions page via the link below. There are more speaking practice questions with sample answers on the topic pages as well. If you have someone to ask you the questions and time your answers, that's great, but don't worry if you haven't. However, if you are practicing alone, it's important to speak your answers out loud, just as you will in the test. And I recommend that you record yourself, then you can play it back later to listen out for specific things you need to improve. There's also plenty of step-by-step help on the website for developing part 1, 2 and 3 answers, as well as help to avoid common errors. This is just some of the invaluable information you'll find there. My third tip for success in the IELTS speaking test is to grow your vocabulary. Vocabulary makes up 25% of your marks for the speaking and writing parts of the IELTS exam. Knowing a broad range of words is also essential for scoring highly in listening and reading. However, vocabulary is even more important than this because, well, it's what language is. Language is words used in a structured way to communicate meaning. For the IELTS exam, the key to success is knowing, firstly, what vocabulary to use, and secondly, how to learn it. which is why I've created pages on both these topics. What you learn on them will help you with the writing, listening and reading parts of the test as well. Again, look for the links to these pages below. Tip 4 is know the exam. To do well in IELTS speaking, it's vital that you understand the format of the test. If you know exactly what to expect, you'll already be a step closer to achieving the result you want. You'll be well prepared and not facing surprises on the day that will prevent you from doing your best. Everything you need to know is included in the IELTS Speaking Part 1, 2 and 3 pages I've already mentioned. I recommend checking them out as soon as you can. So many candidates do badly in the test simply because they don't know this basic information. Please don't be one of them. Tip 5, understand what you'll be tested on, is one of the most important. If you don't know what the examiner is looking for, how can you be sure that you're giving it to them? Don't risk a low grade simply because you fail to understand what the test is really about. The IELTS speaking test is designed to assess your ability to communicate opinions and information on everyday topics and common experiences, to speak at length on a given topic using appropriate vocabulary, organise your ideas coherently, express and justify your opinions, and to analyse and discuss and speculate about issues. The examiner will mark you in relation to 4 specific areas of language: fluency and coherence, vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation. They each hold 25% of the marks. Equally important is what you are not tested on. You won't be assessed on the content of what you say. You won't be tested on your knowledge or your intelligence. And you are not expected to be an expert on the subjects they ask you about. The examiner just wants to hear your opinions and how well you communicate them. That's it. Tip 6. Know your strengths and weaknesses. One of the challenges of being a language learner is that you can't always recognise your own mistakes. However, you will be aware of what you are good at and what aspects of your language skills you really need to work on. This is the subject of the 6th of our IELTS speaking tips. Be totally honest with yourself. Which of the 4 areas of assessment is your weakest? Maybe it's particular aspects of several of these. Identify where you need to make the most improvement and plan your timetable accordingly. If you give equal emphasis to the things you've already mastered and those you're not so good at, then you're wasting valuable preparation time. Earlier, I suggested recording yourself speaking English. When you do this, you'll notice things that need improvement that you might not otherwise be aware of. Here are some of the sorts of things you might notice. You repeat the same words and expressions frequently rather than varying your vocabulary. You pause and hesitate a lot. Your voice is monotone with little variation in your intonation. You focus too much on grammatical accuracy at the expense of fluency. Don't be worried about your errors, as they're part of the learning process. Just recognise them and use them to improve. Tip 7. Practice identifying grammatical structures. Using the correct tense is obviously an important aspect of grammatical accuracy. However, it's very common for candidates to use the wrong tense when answering questions, despite it being a pretty basic error. The result is that they don't actually answer the question. This sort of mistake occurs all too frequently in the speaking test, and it's one of the main reasons why people score poorly for grammar. There's a simple way to avoid this problem. Identify the tense the examiner uses in their question and use the same one in your answer. Let me show you what I mean with a poor answer and a good one. Question. Have you ever been abroad? Subira. I'm going to the USA in September. The question is asked in the past tense, but the answer is given in the future tense. Because of this, Subira hasn't actually answered the question. Here's a better answer. No, I've never visited a foreign country, but I'm going to the USA in September. Not only does Subira correctly use the past tense in the first part of her answer, she also adds a second clause in the future tense. This will earn her good marks. And this time she answers the question properly. So here are the two key rules. Answer the question and answer using the same tense as in the question. For practice, get a friend to read out a list of simple questions and see if you can quickly identify the verb tense in each one. Tip 8. Focus on fluency. For this tip, we're going to go a step further with the technique I introduced to you in step 1, learning to think in English. Poor fluency is often caused by the fear of making mistakes. This leads to the speaker pausing and hesitating far too much or speaking too slowly as they try to get their grammar and vocabulary perfect. Since fluency carries 25% of the marks, you need to get a good balance between correct language and fluent speech. The only way to do this is to practice. The method I'm going to suggest is something for you to do on your own so that you aren't worried about making mistakes. There are many ways you could do it, but here are two. Method 1. Towards the end of the day, think of one thing that went really well or that you are happy about, and something that could have been better. Talk out loud about them for 1 minute, focusing on fluency. This will be great practice for using the past tense, but also conditionals and modals. For example, if I had, or I should have. These are more advanced grammar and will impress the examiner if you use them. Method 2. Choose a photo in a newspaper or magazine and talk out loud about it for at least a minute. Again, focus on fluency rather than perfect grammar and vocabulary. You can work on these at another time. Here are a few ideas as to what to say. Introduce the subject matter. Describe what you can see. Talk about any activity that's going on in the photo. This would be the present tense. Guess what might have been going on before the photo was taken. This would be the past tense. And suggest what might happen next. You'll need to use the future tense for this. If you vary the type of subject matter you choose for this activity, you'll be practicing a wide variety of language. For example, choose a picture of a beautiful room or landscape one day and a topical news item the next. Record and play back your talks to assess your fluency. It will very quickly begin to improve. Tip 9. Work on your pronunciation. Pronunciation should perhaps have come top of our list of IELTS speaking tips. Why? Because if you have poor pronunciation and the examiner can't understand what you're saying, they have no way of assessing your English language skills. You won't be expected to sound like a native English speaker. Indeed, many nationalities speak English, and each has their own accent and slightly different ways of using intonation. What you will be assessed on is how easily the examiner can understand you and how well you pronounce the key sounds of the English language. Pronunciation is generally the last skill that English learners master, so the requirement for a high band score, say band 7 and above, are actually quite low. Having said that, any small improvements you can make will increase your marks. Use these 4 methods. First, listen to spoken English every day. There are many ways to do this. The IELTS resources page on my website has links to lots of free resources that I recommend for listening. Podcasts and radio shows are better than TV and videos because you'll only be listening to the language rather than being distracted by the visuals. You'll find spoken material on almost any subject you can imagine. Second, really focus in. Record short extracts from these sources and replay them over and over again so that you can study and copy the stress and intonation. Third, when you learn new words, make sure that you learn and practice their pronunciation as well. All good online dictionaries have an audio button so that you can hear the words spoken, as well as seeing the phonetic transcription of how each word is pronounced. I especially recommend the Cambridge Online Dictionary. I've also added audio tracks to all my topic vocabulary pages, so that you can hear the correct pronunciation of all the words and phrases. Fourth, identify common L1 errors. It can be really helpful to identify the common pronunciation errors in your native language, known as your L1 language, so that you can focus in on them, or at least be aware of where the key pronunciation challenges may lie. Just Google the phrase "common pronunciation mistakes in English for" speakers. Insert your own language in the space. You should find several websites that list common errors in your native language. This is one of the best tips for improving your pronunciation that I can give you. That brings us to the end of our top 9 IELTS speaking tips. Do read all the pages I've directed you to. They'll help you with everything I've talked about and are also packed full of additional tips. I've covered lots in this video. Now it's up to you to put it all into practice and move closer to getting the IELTS score you want. Thanks for listening and goodbye for now.
Hey everyone, Chris here from IELTSadvantage.com. Thank you very much for tuning in. I was doing a Zoom session with my VIP students, with my VIP speaking students, and in those Zoom sessions we have like 20 or 30 students, and it's like a virtual classroom and we can chat to each other, and I was listening to a lot of their part 3 answers and giving them feedback on it, and about a third of the students were making this mistake. And this mistake is the most common mistake that I hear in speaking part 3. And it's also the mistake that can, if you fix this mistake, it can really improve your performance. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to state a question. So the question is, what are the drawbacks of working from home? So typical part 3 IELTS speaking test question. What are the drawbacks of working from home? And I'm going to give you 2 performances. One from a student who is making this mistake and one from a student who is not making this mistake. And I want you to try and think about what the mistake is and how it might affect your overall performance. And then we'll talk about it a little bit, and then I'll talk about how it affects your fluency, your coherence, your grammar, your vocabulary, and maybe even your pronunciation, but definitely the first 3. Okay, so the question is, what are the drawbacks of working from home? So this is student A, all right? So student A would say, I think the first drawback is being less productive. You don't get as much stuff done if you work from home. And then you also need a lot of discipline. So you're not as disciplined when you're working from home as opposed to working in an office. There are also lots of distractions at home. So there's like TV, and you can go to bed and all these different things at home. And Also, you're not really connected to your co-workers. So if you're working from home, you're not in the office, you're not talking to anybody. And you might even lose out on a chance for promotion because your boss or the management of the company might not be able to see your work or see you working hard. And so yeah, and what else? So there are lots of drawbacks about working from home. Yeah, and those would be the ones that I can think of. Okay, so that's student A. So let's compare that with student B. I'm not saying student A is better or worse than student B. I just want you to compare and think about it. Okay, so student A is asked the question, the exact same question. What are the drawbacks of working from home? Okay, so I think the first drawback of working from home is you're going to be less productive. There's something called Parkinson's law. I don't know the law exactly, but Parkinson's law states that the amount of time that it takes to complete a task fills the time allocated to it. In other words, the more time you give to something, the less productive, the less efficient you become. So within the context of working from home, if you're sitting at home all day, you have absolutely all the time in the world from you get up until you go to bed to get everything done. Therefore, you become less efficient. If you compare that to working in an office where naturally you're going to be working from 9 to 5, 9 to 6, or 10 to 8, or whatever it is, there is a boundary, there is a limit to the amount of time you're going to spend in the office. And by limiting the time, you're increasing the efficiency of your work. For example, I used to work from home, and I would get up at, say, 8 a.m. and I would work all day until like 9 p.m., 10 p.m. And I would get a lot of stuff done, or I thought that I would get a lot of stuff done, and I didn't realize how inefficient I was until I moved to an office. And I would get all my work done before lunchtime, and the same amount of work that I would get done all day. And I think it was because I had other people needing my time, and there were restrictions on my time. Therefore, I got a lot done. Another way of describing it is a lot of students, when they're doing their coursework, they'll often procrastinate and put off their assignments until like the week before, or the day before, or the night before even, and they manage to get it all done. Whereas other students who give themselves like 3 months might get the same amount of work done in a 3-month period because they allocated that amount of time to it. So I think that is the main drawback of working from home. So as you can see, two very, very different answers. So what do you think are the main differences between student A and student B? And which student do you think is going to perform better? So have a little think about that. Put it in the comments below the video. It's always good to, instead of passively sit back and watch these videos, is to actively engage in them and try and engage your brain, and commenting and thinking about the video really does help you learn from them. So the main differences between student A and student B are something I call listing. So student A just listed as many different ideas as they could think of, whereas student B picked one idea and went very, very deep on that idea. They fully developed the idea, they fully explained the drawback and why they think that, and they gave an example, and they even, I think they gave 2 different examples. So think about it this way. Which person listening, so student A, the person listening to student A, or student B, the person listening to student B, which person has a better idea of what they think about that topic, or what they think about that idea? Student A, the person listening to them, basically they know very, very little about what they think about that. All they did was just give a list, like a shopping list of ideas, but didn't really explain. They explained a little bit about each one, but didn't fully explain them, and didn't give any examples or anything like that. So there's a few things happening there. Number one, you're not as coherent if you're doing that, and you're not going to be as fluent. Why is that? Because what that person was doing, and this is what students do all the time, and especially part 3, is they try and think of as many ideas as possible, and that uses up all their brain power. So imagine your brain is a computer or a phone or whatever, and these electronic devices have a certain amount of memory, a certain amount of RAM in them. Your brain is the same way, not exactly the same, obviously, but you can only think and speak about things at the same time to a certain extent. Normally, when students really are thinking very hard about ideas, their fluency drops and their coherence drops. So what you're doing really, if you're listing lots of ideas, is you're making it more difficult for yourself. Whereas if you just pick one idea, just think, take a second or two to think of that idea and then go deep on that idea and explain it and use examples. It's normally much easier to do that than to just think of like 6 or 7 different ideas. So you're making it much easier for yourself to be as fluent and as coherent as possible. Also, generally, this is not applicable to every single student, but most students that I deal with who tend to list things and do a lot of thinking as they're speaking make more grammar and vocabulary mistakes. Why is that? Well, the analogy of RAM and the memory that you have in your computer or your phone, if you are thinking and speaking all at the same time, then you're not giving yourself enough space to focus on the grammar and vocabulary. In general, I find that the more students think about ideas, the lower their grammar and vocabulary score. Not always the case, but often the case. It can even affect pronunciation at times, not to the same degree as grammar and vocabulary, but it can do. So what can we learn from this? What we can learn is, number one, limit the number of ideas that you have in the speaking test, in speaking part 3 especially, and go deeper on them. Make it easier for yourself. And this is not something you can do by just watching this video and then immediately doing it in the test. You have to practice this. Go and download or look up speaking practice questions. Just Google, speaking practice part 3 questions, and practice doing this yourself, and you'll get into the routine of doing this. Some students that I work with, every week they make this mistake. And I say, like, I told you 2 or 3 weeks in a row not to do this. Did you not practice it? And the ones that keep making this mistake don't practice. The ones that do fix this mistake are the ones that practice and the ones that improve. So it really is going to improve your performance if you do that. It's much easier, and it's all about, like what this says, if you can see it, keeping it simple. It's the speaking test is not an ideas test. It's not a knowledge test. It's not an IQ test. It's a speaking test. So give yourself every opportunity to show the examiner how good you are at speaking English, not limiting yourself by thinking of 17 different ideas. Just make it as easy as possible for yourself. Hope you enjoyed that video. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Improve your speaking skills. We will give you some tips for giving presentations, asking questions in class, and taking opportunities to speak in everyday life. Speaking in front of others is something that many people feel anxious about, especially if English is not your first language. However, there are some things you can do to help minimize your anxiety and to improve your speaking confidence. Perhaps one thing that makes you anxious is giving an oral presentation, a common type of assessment at university. Successful presentations depend on 2 things: content and style. Let's look first at content. Basically, you need to make sure you understand your content and know it well. You should be able to speak about your topic without slides or notes if necessary. This does not mean memorizing your presentation word for word, but you should know your topic so well that you could speak about it spontaneously, or if you were asked questions at the end of the presentation. Also consider the order of the information in your presentation. Your content should not jump randomly from one topic to another, so you should develop an outline of your content, like you do when writing an essay or a report, to keep your presentation logical and easy to follow. It is important to check the task and criteria that your lecturer or tutor has set, because tasks can vary. But here is a common approach to presentation content. 1. A hook, to grab the audience's attention, for example, a story or question. 2. An introduction of the presenters and the topic. 3. An outline, the subtopics to be covered. 4. The content as per the outline. 5. Question time and the close, where you thank the audience. Getting the content right for your presentation is always essential, but your presentation style is also important because you need to be able to communicate your ideas in an interesting and impactful way. Now let's look at how to develop a successful presentation style. Firstly, learn by watching others. Watch your lecturers and tutors, and also classmates who speak English well when they present. Secondly, before your presentation, you need to practice, practice, practice. A great way to do this is by recording yourself on your phone. Then listen and reflect. Are you easy to understand? Do you correctly pronounce the technical or discipline-specific words? Do you speak at the right pace? Do you project your voice? Do you keep to the time allowed? If you keep these recordings, you can compare them later to see if you have improved. Finally, try to be enthusiastic about your presentation, because your audience will respond to your approach. Make sure you share eye contact around the room and be aware of your body language and where you are standing. Everyone in the room needs to feel that you are speaking to them. Don't mumble or speak in monotone, or your audience will lose interest. Of course, presentations should not be the only time you speak at university. As part of the academic community, you are also expected to ask questions and express your opinions in class. You may be expected to lead a tutorial discussion, and you will probably have to work with your classmates on group projects. These situations may be more difficult than presentations because they are harder to prepare for, but some of the same tips for giving a good presentation can also help you in these situations. Firstly, learn by watching others. Notice your classmates when they ask questions or participate in discussions. What language do they use? You should also pay attention to how people around them react. Not everyone is a good communicator. Try to copy the style of effective communicators and learn from the mistakes of the ineffective communicators. Next, know your material. Do the class readings. Make a list of key points and important vocabulary. Prepare questions before the class and write them down. Not only will these strategies help you to learn the material, they will also help you to participate in class discussions. Finally, don't get discouraged or angry if people misunderstand you or react to what you are saying in an unexpected way. This happens to everyone from time to time. Remember that communicating is a two-way street. Listeners need to make as much effort as speakers. Also remember that the more you speak in English, the better you will get. So you need to speak in English at every opportunity. This means both at university and away from it in your everyday life. If you are an international student, you may have housemates and friends from your own country who share your language and culture. Although this can be comforting, it can also have a negative effect on your English-speaking skills. If you are in a situation where most of the people around you speak your language, then you need to find other opportunities to speak English. You could join a club at the university, or sign up for an event with Griffith mates. You could start an international study group, or attend an English help or library workshop. You could also agree to have English-only days at your house. If you increase the amount of time you speak English every day, you will start to see an improvement, not just with your speaking skills, but also with your reading, writing, and listening skills as well.
Welcome to this video. Today we're going to talk about how you can improve your English speaking skills. This is a question I get from students every single day, so let's talk about that. Of course, I'm Jennifer from jforrestenglish.com, and this channel is dedicated to helping you feel confident speaking English in public so you can take your career and your life to the next level. Now, before we go any further, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell icon so you're notified every time I post a new lesson. Now, let's dive in with this video. So let's talk about how you can improve your English speaking skills. The answer is really simple, so this video is only going to be 10 seconds. Just speak in English. That's all you need to do. If you want to improve a specific skill, in this case, the specific skill you want to improve is your speaking, all you need to do is practice that skill. That's it. There's no need to make this more complicated than it needs to be. Just speak. Speak, speak, speak. The more you practice, the more you improve that specific skill. Now let me give you an example of this, and I want you to really understand how this isn't just about your speaking skills. This is really about anything you do in your entire life. Improving anything, you just practice that skill. So over the weekend, I went for a really long bike ride. Long for me because I don't go on very long bike rides. So I went for a 25K bike ride. So if you're not sure how long 25K is, it took me about 2 hours, and I bike at a pretty slow pace compared to other bikers. So about 2 hours. Now, at the end of that bike ride, my legs were really sore. My whole body was pretty sore. I was just completely worn out physically because I don't normally go on 25K bike rides. For me, that was just a little bit outside of my normal routine for biking. I bike about 3 times a week, and my bike rides are about 10 to 12K when I bike ride. Because for me, it's just something to get my muscles going after sitting at a computer all day long. I usually do it at the end of the day just to, get a little bit of exercise. But because of that, I'm only used to biking for 10 to 12K. That's what I'm comfortable with. So right now, if you practice speaking, and maybe you only practice speaking for 1 minute, or maybe you practice speaking in a certain style. So you practice speaking by having notes in front of you, and that's how you practice speaking. Or you only practice speaking in positive sentences and you don't really practice negative sentences or question forms or things like that. Well, then you're going to be comfortable with whatever you practice. So if you practice speaking for 1 minute routinely, then you're going to be comfortable speaking for 1 minute the more you do that and the more repetitions you do. Now, the second you try to do something else with your speaking skills, like speak for 2 minutes or speak for 10 minutes or give a formal presentation, something that you don't normally do, you're not going to be comfortable with that because you haven't practiced that specific skill. So just like I was comfortable biking for 10K, I wasn't comfortable biking for 25K. And that discomfort was visible in physical symptoms in my body, like my legs being really sore. Now, your discomfort, if you try to go from 1 minute speaking to 10 minutes speaking, your discomfort is probably going to be more emotional, probably a higher level of anxiety, a higher level of fear, or things like that. It probably isn't the physical symptom that I had with biking. But then once you practice doing that over and over again, that is going to just become comfortable for you. So if I started biking 25K a day, and maybe I did that 3 or 4 times a week, and it just became a normal part of my routine, I would be comfortable biking 25K, and my muscles would no longer be sore. Maybe it would take me 1 month, probably. I would estimate about a month of biking 25K 3 to 4 times a week for 4 weeks. I think after that, at the end of that month, my muscles would adjust. I would develop more muscle mass and my body would adjust to that new bike routine. So same with you. If you try to do something different with your speaking, speak longer, speak in more complex sentences, speak in a different style, it's going to be awkward, uncomfortable, and you'll probably have some emotional symptoms as well until you have enough repetitions for that to become just more comfortable for you, part of your routine. You need to practice that specific skill enough until you're comfortable with it. Now, of course, you probably want to take it in gradual steps. You wouldn't go from never biking at all to biking 25K. That's just not a smart thing to do. Your body is not prepared for that, and probably it's going to be a really negative experience for you. Now, same thing. You don't want to go from not speaking at all to giving a TED Talk, or to giving a formal presentation in front of your colleagues, or to going to a job interview. You don't want to put yourself in that kind of position. You want to build up your speaking skills, give yourself enough practice and repetition at every step of the way till you get comfortable, and then you move up. You practice that next style of speaking until you're comfortable with it, and then you move up, and you keep doing that until you get to your goal. So for a biker, I don't know, you'd probably go 5K for a beginner biker, maybe even 3K for a very beginner biker, and then to 10K, then to 15, then probably to 20 or 25. And then once you get up to a higher tolerance, you can make bigger jumps. If you're comfortable with 25, you can probably go up to 40 pretty easily, right? You don't have to go 25 to 30, 30 to 35. You can make bigger jumps. Same thing with your speaking skills. Once you get up to a certain level, you can make bigger jumps because your ability is at that higher point. But at the beginning stages, you need to make slower jumps, slower improvements until you build up enough skill to make a bigger jump. But all you need at every step of the way is more repetitions, and you need to expect that it isn't going to be comfortable at each stage at the beginning. It's going to take your body time to adjust, your mind time to accept those new repetitions and build it as a pattern. And then when you have that, you can just move up and up and up, and then you're going to improve your speaking skills. You're going to do it gradually, and you're going to do it by speaking, and you're going to do it through lots and lots of repetitions, and there's just no other way to do it. So there's no big secret. It's simply just practicing whatever skill you want and giving it enough repetitions for your body and your brain to accept that as a new pattern. So that's it. You want to improve your speaking skills? Well, then start speaking, Get lots of repetitions, give yourself enough repetitions before you move on to a more advanced level. And remember, at the beginning stages, your improvements are going to be slower, but once you build up skill, you can make bigger jumps. So if you found this video helpful, please hit the like button, share it with your friends, and of course, subscribe. And until next time, happy studying! Awesome job. I know you can do it. Just start speaking. Speak every chance you get. I know you can do this. You got this. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Hi, I'm Jennifer, certified English teacher and communications expert. In today's video, I'm going to share 3 tips on how to speak English fast. At the end of the video, I'll share with you a bonus tip that will help you sound very natural. All right, let's get started. Tip 1, don't speak English fast. Okay, so I don't want your goal to be speaking English fast. The reason is a lot of students mistake fast and natural. Students think English speakers speak fast because to them it is fast because they don't understand the language as well. So when they watch a movie, it sounds so fast. But honestly, for English speakers, it isn't fast. It's a natural pace. Your goal is to speak English naturally because speaking English fast is actually not a good quality from a communications perspective. The reason why it sounds fast is because English speakers don't put pauses between our words. Pausing makes you sound unnatural and it also slows you down. So right now, I want that to be your goal. Eliminate your pauses, speak at a natural pace. Tip 2, understand linking. I just told you about reducing pauses to increase the speed. Another thing that English speakers always do, which might be a more difficult concept for you to understand, is linking. We link our sounds together, and often through linking, we change pronunciation and we change it so we're able to say the sentence smoother. And because of that, it comes out faster. So a student is often taking longer to say the same sentence because their sentence is this long when you include the pauses and the fact they're not using reductions and linking. Whereas an English speaker, although they're saying the exact same words, it's this long because of taking away the pauses and reducing sounds and linking. So really, it's not that we're speaking faster, we're actually saying less words. And we're saying less words because we combine them. So let me give you an example. Here's a sentence I'm going to say very slowly, unnaturally. Thank you, but I bought a black car. So with this sentence, I paused between every word and I didn't link my sounds. So every word was said individually. Now, listen to me say this naturally. Thank you, but I bought a black car. Let's look at what happens. So for linking, we have thank you. But what I do is I transfer that sound to the next word, and I'm actually saying thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, repeat, thank you. Good. Now, the reason I do that is because it allows me to eliminate the pause because the K is a hard sound and it forces me to take a breath of air. So to change that, I transfer the sound to the next word and I say thank you, because now I'm able to say it as one word. Thank you. Thank you, but I, but I. So here, I'm not saying but I. I'm saying but I. So I'm transferring the T sound onto the next word. Now you'll notice I'm saying it as a soft D because that's American pronunciation. But I. Okay, good. Bought a. Here, I just make this one sound. Boughta. Okay, so now we have thank you, but I boughta. Black car. So here we have a sound that ends in a k, but the next word starts in a k. So because of this, I just eliminate one of the k sounds and I use it to link these two words together. So I say blah car, blah. So actually, I'm not saying black. I'm changing this to blah, which isn't a word, but I say it quickly and I combine it with car. So you hear the k on car, you hear it for both. Black car, black car, black car. Now it only works if you say it as one word. If I say blah car with a pause, it doesn't work. Okay, so all together, thank you, but I bought a black car. Tip 3, practice slow and increase speed naturally. So let's take the sentence we were using before. When you're practicing this, start slow. So the way I said it, thank you, but I boughta, that's probably too fast for you right now. And that's okay. You can practice with a but I boughta. Practice slow. But I boughta. Now say that maybe 5 times, maybe 10 times. Say it as much as you need to feel comfortable with the sound. And once you're comfortable, speed it up just a little bit. But I boughta. Now say that 5 or 10 times until you're comfortable with it. And then speed it up. But I boughta. And your goal is to gradually increase the speed until it sounds natural. But remember, your goal is not to say it quickly. The second you say it too fast and you lose clarity so the person can't understand you, then you need to slow it down. But I boughta. That's too fast. I would not be able to understand that. So your goal isn't fast. Your goal is natural. Bonus tip, use contractions. This is an area I find even my advanced students don't do this. They don't use contractions. But again, let's take the sentence, I will see you later. Okay, so all of a sudden you have I will. But I, as an English speaker, would not say I will. I would say I'll see you, all. Notice how I'm actually saying all, which is the unstressed pronunciation. The stressed pronunciation would be I'll, but naturally I would just say all. I'll see you, all. I'll see you later. So because of this, I am able to say the sentence faster because you're saying I will and I'm saying I'll. So I'm saying it a second faster because I'm only saying one sound and you're saying 2 sounds. So contractions are a great way to reduce your sounds and sound extremely natural in English. So there you go. Don't speak English fast. Speak it naturally but clearly. Use linking to reduce your sounds and practice slow and increase your speed naturally. And of course, use contractions to make those sounds even smaller. Let me know in the comments, what do you find most difficult about speaking English fast? I'd love to hear it. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button, share it with your friends, and of course subscribe. And until next time, happy studying. What's the difference between a beginner English speaker and an advanced English speaker? And how can you transition from a beginner to an advanced? That's exactly what we'll talk about in this lesson. Of course, I'm Jennifer from jforrestenglish.com, and this channel is dedicated to helping you sound like a fluent, confident, natural English speaker. Now, before we go any further, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell icon so you're notified every time I post a new lesson. Now, let's dive in with this video. What's the difference between a beginner English speaker and an advanced English speaker? Well, I think the difference is just in the attitude and the habits between a beginner and advanced. Now, I was leaving the grocery store the other day and I saw a flyer on the community bulletin board that caught my attention. It was a flyer for a kid's karate class. Now, if you didn't know, in karate, they judge their levels based on belt color. So a beginner in karate gets a white belt, and an expert or an advanced in karate gets a black belt. So you can think of beginner English speaker as white belt and advanced or fluent English speaker as black belt. Now, on this flyer, which was advertising karate classes for little kids, the only thing the flyer said was, a black belt is a white belt who never quits. A black belt is a white belt who never quits. And that was the advertisement for this karate class. It was that quote, the name of the karate facility, and a phone number. That was it. But when I saw that quote, it got my attention. I stopped and I said, wow, I want to share this with my students. Now, of course, I think we can just replace black belt with advanced English speaker and white belt with beginner English speaker. And then we get an advanced English speaker is a beginner English speaker who never quits. Isn't that the truth? Because right now you might be at that beginner level or maybe the intermediate level. But the thing is, an advanced English speaker was just like you. They started out in that beginner position. Everybody who is now an expert at whatever it is they do, whether it be a sport, a musical instrument, a hobby, or a language, every single person starts as a beginner. The people who become experts or advanced at their particular skill are simply the people who never quit. They kept learning, they kept practicing, they kept repeating, they kept revising, they kept reviewing, they kept doing all of these things over and over and over again. And let me ask you, do you think that kid who just got his black belt and he's super proud of himself after years and years of training, hard work, and dedication, that kid gets his black belt? Do you think he's going to stop practicing karate? Do you think he's going to stop practicing and learning new moves or different moves or improving the moves he already knows? Of course not. So the advanced, the expert, the black belt is just as much a learner as the beginner, the white belt. They share that in common, and they'll always share that in common. Because once you get to that advanced level, it takes a lot of discipline. So you've really transformed into a person that is disciplined, that understands how practice, repetition, patience, hard work, and continuous learning all contributed to your success. So you already have great habits and you're going to continue them. So I love this quote. If you're at that beginner stage, don't feel frustrated. We all start at that beginner stage. And remember, a black belt is a white belt who never quit. So my hope for you is that you'll never quit learning English. Never quit learning English. You're a lifelong English learner. So put that in the comments. I'll never quit. I'll never quit. I'll never quit. Put that in the comments. Make that commitment to yourself. I'll never quit. Put it in the comments, and we're all in this together. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button, share it with your friends, and of course subscribe. Now before you go, make sure you head on over to my website, jforrestenglish.com, and download your free speaking guide. In this guide, I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. And until next time, happy studying. I'll never quit. I'll never quit. I can promise you as your teacher, I'll never stop trying to improve my skills so I can teach you faster, better, and a more interesting and fun way. And I want that same commitment from you that you'll never quit. So put in the comments, I'll never quit. I'll never quit. Put it in the comments and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.
Fighting a ticket in court. 1.
Your Honor, I'd like to challenge this ticket.
What is your reason for challenging this ticket?
The police officer did not have the right to issue the ticket.
Can you explain what you mean with that statement?
I was rightfully parked. He told me that I was parked in a handicap space.
Well, was it a handicap space?
It used to be. It is not anymore.
Well, was there a sign letting you know it was a handicap space?
No, because the spot has since been removed.
So, did you explain to the officer that it was no longer a handicap space?
I tried, but he wouldn't listen. He said I was trying to get away from paying.
Thank you. I will question the officer and get his side of the story.
Fighting a ticket in court. 2.
I can't pay for the ticket.
Why can't you pay for the ticket?
Well, I just got laid off from my job.
Okay, Mr. Richardson, I'm going to have to give you an alternative.
What do you mean?
I'm going to have to give you 36 hours of community service.
Thank you for the opportunity, Your Honor.
You will report to the nearest community service center.
They will tell me where to go?
Yes, they will give you an option of places to go.
Thank you, Your Honor. I greatly appreciate it.
You're welcome. I hope you don't plan on returning to this courtroom anytime soon.
Learning how to drive. 1.
The first thing you want to do is fasten your seatbelt.
Check. What's next?
Check your mirrors and make sure you can see behind you.
Done. Should I put it in reverse now?
Yes, ease off the brake slowly.
Okay. I need to turn to leave the parking lot.
Make sure there are no pedestrians walking behind you.
Okay. Do I turn the steering wheel to the left?
Yes, make sure you are paying attention to the cars.
Will do. Do I put it in drive now?
Yes, but remember, have your foot on the brake and then ease it off.
Wow, this seems easy. Let's go out on the street.
Learning how to drive. 2.
Where should my hands be on the steering wheel?
Your hands should be on 10 and 2.
10 and 2? What do you mean?
Think of the steering wheel as a clock. Put your hands on 10 and 2.
Oh, okay. What about my eyes? Should I be looking at the signs?
Take a quick glance at the signs, but always look in front.
When do I have to use my horn?
You should use your horn for an emergency.
What about if someone cuts me off?
That's not an appropriate use of your horn.
Am I ready to start driving yet?
No, you need to learn some more of the basics.
Getting a parking ticket.
Sir, is this your car?
Yes, are you giving me a ticket?
Unfortunately, yes, I am. Read the sign.
Which sign? I don't see a sign.
The sign above you, sir.
So what? It says we can't park on Mondays.
Yes, it does. Although it also says that you can't park without a permit.
I didn't see that.
Well, I'm sorry, but I still have to give you the ticket.
Can't you just give me a warning?
I'm sorry, but I already started writing the ticket.
Fine, give me the ticket. I'll fight it in court.
Getting the driver's license.
Finally, I got my driver's license.
Congratulations. Can I see it?
Sure, here it is. I don't like my picture.
Oh, wow, you blinked.
Yeah, they didn't want to take another picture.
I didn't know your middle name was David.
Oh no, I didn't want anyone to know.
Well, you shouldn't have put it on your license.
I had to. When are you going to get your license?
I was thinking about going tomorrow to the DMV.
You want me to take you? I do have my license now.
Sure, pick me up from the house at noon.
Calling the insurance company.
Hello, I was in an accident earlier today.
Okay, did you get the appropriate information from the other driver?
Yes, I did. Just tell me what you need.
It would be better if you came into the office.
When can I come in?
You can come in tomorrow. What time works for you?
I can make it in tomorrow at noon.
Great. Can you give me your full name?
Yes, it's David Mark.
Okay, Mr. Mark. I have you scheduled for tomorrow at noon.
Sounds good. I will see you tomorrow.
Please remember to bring all the information you got from the other driver.
A traffic incident.
What's going on? What happened?
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Well, I'm going to need your information.
Yes, I know. I'm sorry. I was distracted with the car accident.
I figured. Well, here's my information.
Let me get my information. I have it in my car.
Yes, please do that.
Well, it seems like I don't have my insurance card.
How could you not have your insurance information?
I drive another car. I must have left it in that one.
Fine, let me get your information.
Sure, call me later today. I will give you my information.
Calling a traffic school.
Hello, I need to make an appointment.
Were you mandated by the court to go to traffic school?
Yes, I was. Does that matter?
Yes, it does. Let me have your full name.
It's David Johnson. What days do you have available?
We have Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
Oh, okay. I can make it on Thursday. What time should I be in?
Come in at 9 a.m. If you can't make it during that time, please call.
Great. I will see you this Thursday.
Remember to bring your court papers. We need to sign those.
I seem to have lost them. Could I go to court to get another copy?
Yes, go to the court and print them out before you come over.
Failing to stop at a stop sign.
Do you know why I stopped you?
No, officer. Why?
You failed to stop at the stop sign.
I'm sorry, officer. I didn't see the stop sign.
Have you had anything to drink?
No, I have not. Do you need to see my license?
Yes, I need your license and registration.
Okay. Here is my paperwork.
I will be back. I need to check your background.
Sure thing, officer.
Everything seems to be in order. I'm going to give you a warning.
Thank you, officer. I'll be more careful.
Applying for a driving permit.
Hello, I'm number G85.
How may I help you today?
I would like to apply for my driving permit.
Are you 16 years old? That's the minimum age.
Yes, I am. Here's my ID.
Thank you. May I see your form?
Oh, of course. Would I be able to take the written today?
If you have the $30, then yes, you can take it.
Oh, I must have forgotten my money at home.
Well, you can make an appointment to take it tomorrow.
That sounds like a good idea.
Okay, I will set up the appointment.
Passing the road test.
Dad, I passed my driving test.
You did? That's great news.
Where do you want to go first, Dad?
You're going to take me out for a ride?
Yes, where do you want to go?
How about we go and get you a nice steak dinner?
That sounds great. I could go for a nice steak around now.
Come to the house and pick me up.
Would I be able to drive myself?
No, you have to drive with someone over the age of 21.
Oh, okay. Well, we can drop off my friend that took me to the DMV.
Sure, we can go drop him off before we leave.
A car accident.
Hello, officer. I want to report a car accident.
What was the cause of the accident?
The other driver had been drinking.
Are there any casualties?
No, both drivers are fine.
Where did the accident take place?
It's on the corner of 5th and Vine Street.
How many people are involved in the accident?
There are 2 cars. Each car has 2 people in the vehicle.
We will respond as soon as possible.
Thank you. Can you hurry? It looks like one of the drivers wants to leave.
We will get there as soon as possible.
Paying the ticket fine.
So, how much is the ticket going to cost?
Well, it's going to be $200.
$200 for a parking ticket?
Well, it looks like this is your 3rd parking ticket.
Yes, but I haven't gotten one in a couple of months.
This is your 3rd parking ticket this year.
I know. Fine, I will pay the ticket.
How will you be paying the ticket?
I will be paying in cash.
So that'll be $200 in cash.
Yes, let me get you your receipt.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Paying off parking tickets.
Dad, I got a parking ticket at school.
Well, you should pay it off as soon as possible.
Where can I pay it off?
You can go to downtown and go to the court there.
Can I pay it off online?
Yes, you can. Look at the fine. It should give you a website.
Oh, okay. Let me go to get the ticket. It's in my car.
Hurry, because I need to leave for work.
Oh, wait, I forgot. I put it in my wallet.
Well, take it out, look in the back, and it should give you a website.
Yes, it's in the back. Am I going to pay with my debit card?
Yes, do you have the money to pay?
Taking the written test.
Before you take your written test, we need to take your picture.
Okay, where do I go?
I can take the photo. Stand behind the red line, please.
Where do I go to take the test?
Go on the other side of the wall and pick a stall.
Sounds good. May I have a pencil?
Sure, the pencils are on the front desk.
Where do I obtain the test?
They will give you your test. Remember, eyes on your own test.
Of course. This reminds me of school.
Yeah, we get that a lot.
Will they let me know if I pass the test or not?
Yes, they will let you know after you finish.
Where to park on campus.
Excuse me, this is my first time on campus. Where can I park?
There are 3 parking lots on campus.
Can you point me to the direction of the nearest one?
Keep driving straight. When you get to the light, make a left.
Thank you. Do I have to pay?
The first floor has visitors parking.
So do I have to pay? Do they take credit cards?
Yes, you would have to pay, and they do take credit cards.
How much does it cost to park?
I believe it is $3. I could be wrong.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Have a nice day.
Driving through a red light.
Where do you want to go to eat?
I'm not sure. Wait, watch out! The light is red!
Oh, damn. Well, there, I passed it.
I think there was a cop at that light.
Can you check? Look behind you.
I don't see anything. Wait, there is a car turning the corner.
Is it a police car? Well, is it?
Oh no, I think it is.
Well, hopefully he doesn't stop us.
Oh no, he just turned on his lights.
Damn, I have to pull over.
Yes, I hope I don't get a ticket.
Talking to the traffic school instructor.
Thank you for coming in today. I'll see you next week.
Excuse me, instructor. May I speak with you for a moment?
Sure thing, Mr. Davis. What can I help you with?
Well, about next week. I can't make it.
That is a problem. You are mandated by court to attend every week.
I know, but I have a family emergency.
You have to go to the court and ask for an extension.
Do I have to come back over here after?
No, they will give you a makeup date.
Great. Thank you for all your help.
Sure thing. I hope everything is all right.
Thanks. I'll see you next time.
Failing the road test.
Unfortunately, you made a lot of mistakes, and I cannot pass you.
What mistakes did I make?
You failed to put on your turn signals when turning a corner.
How many mistakes am I allowed?
You are allowed 3 mistakes. You got 5.
Which other mistakes did I make?
You hit the curb when you were parallel parking.
I thought you might have missed that.
No, you also didn't pay attention to some of the signs.
Which signs are you talking about?
You passed a yield sign and did not yield.
Can I take the test again?
You can take it again on Monday.
That's a shame, since hand washing is the best defense against germs. That's a shame, since hand washing is the best defense against germs. That's a shame, since hand washing is the best defense against germs. I need a cup of coffee for a long working day. I need a cup of coffee for a long working day. I need a cup of coffee for a long working day. He still practices for the competition during the winter. He still practices for the competition during the winter. He still practices for the competition during the winter. He won the first prize at the chess tournament. He won the first prize at the chess tournament. He won the first prize at the chess tournament. The woodpecker pecked a hole in the tree. The woodpecker pecked a hole in the tree. The woodpecker pecked a hole in the tree. Be quiet, please. Be quiet, please. Be quiet, please. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. That's great. That's great. That's great. Hi, long time no see. Hi, long time no see. Hi, long time no see. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. She is a wonderful painter. She is a wonderful painter. She is a wonderful painter. Jogging is good for health. Jogging is good for health. Jogging is good for health. I wake up at 7 a.m. I wake up at 7 a.m. I wake up at 7 a.m. I am preparing for my summer trip. I am preparing for my summer trip. I am preparing for my summer trip. They had a great show. They had a great show. They had a great show. They are waiting for the next train. They are waiting for the next train. They are waiting for the next train. They are searching the map for the next place. They are searching the map for the next place. They are searching the map for the next place. They are skateboarding together. They are skateboarding together. They are skateboarding together. They practice for the final competition. They practice for the final competition. They practice for the final competition. He has a cold. He has a cold. He has a cold. He is cleaning his phone. He is cleaning his phone. He is cleaning his phone. They eat pizza for dinner. They eat pizza for dinner. They eat pizza for dinner. They listen to music together. They listen to music together. They listen to music together. He is preparing for the match. He is preparing for the match. He is preparing for the match. They are hiking up to the hill. They are hiking up to the hill. They are hiking up to the hill. They are fishing in the river. They are fishing in the river. They are fishing in the river. Jellyfish swimming inside the aquarium. Jellyfish swimming inside the aquarium. Jellyfish swimming inside the aquarium. They are family. They are family. They are family. Women of tribe performing a traditional dance. Women of tribe performing a traditional dance. Women of tribe performing a traditional dance. They are a couple. They are a couple. They are a couple. Men dance in front of the building. Men dance in front of the building. Men dance in front of the building. My dog is sleeping on the grass. My dog is sleeping on the grass. My dog is sleeping on the grass. They are in a meeting. They are in a meeting. They are in a meeting. They are discussing a business plan. They are discussing a business plan. They are discussing a business plan. They are playing a board game of Monopoly. They are playing a board game of Monopoly. They are playing a board game of Monopoly. He's doing some experiments. He's doing some experiments. He's doing some experiments. She is a fashion designer. She is a fashion designer. She is a fashion designer. They are tackling construction accidents. They are tackling construction accidents. They are tackling construction accidents. They are waiting to buy fresh fruit. They are waiting to buy fresh fruit. They are waiting to buy fresh fruit. A worker is transferring goods in a forklift. A worker is transferring goods in a forklift. A worker is transferring goods in a forklift. He is practicing pottery. He is practicing pottery. He is practicing pottery. They're doing an interview. They're doing an interview. They're doing an interview. A man is working on his computer. A man is working on his computer. A man is working on his computer. People are working in a plastic factory. People are working in a plastic factory. People are working in a plastic factory. They have a conversation outside the door. They have a conversation outside the door. They have a conversation outside the door. Man is selling toys on the street. Man is selling toys on the street. Man is selling toys on the street. She is checking out clothes in the wardrobes. She is checking out clothes in the wardrobes. She is checking out clothes in the wardrobes. A street artist is dancing on the sidewalk. A street artist is dancing on the sidewalk. A street artist is dancing on the sidewalk. This is a bustling night market. This is a bustling night market. This is a bustling night market. She is harvesting corn in the field. She is harvesting corn in the field. She is harvesting corn in the field.